Good morning, I'm Dave Williamson. A happy Monday morning to you. I've been a part of this church for a long time, and glad to greet you on a Monday morning. And thinking about summer mornings, I want to start this letter sharing something from the Psalms. I'm thanking you, God, with a full heart. I'm reading the book on your wonders. I'm whistling, laughing, jumping for joy. I'm singing your song, High God. God's a safe house, a sanctuary. And a little later, the psalmist goes on to say, God's glory is on tour in the skies. God craft on exhibit across the horizon. Madam Day holds classes every morning. Professor Knight lectures each evening. Their words aren't heard. Their voices aren't recorded, but their silence fills the earth. Unspoken truth is spoken everywhere. The revelation of God is whole and pulls our lives together. So I start this Monday and this week full of praise and gratitude to God for all that He's given us. And I call it a happy Monday morning. And I start thinking about this particular community, this church. My mind drifts to the book of Philippians, and Jeff started his preaching series saying that Philippians is Paul's happiest book. But there's this very important directive that Paul gives in the middle, in the second chapter of Philippians, and this is really my letter to you as a member of this community, as I've been a part of this community for a long time. It's actually my second letter to this church. My first letter to this church was written about 30 years ago, and it was a letter of resignation when I was moving from here to another community. But even those years that I was gone, this was my community, this was my church. I came back and visited you often. So Paul says to the Philippians, if you've gotten anything at all out of following Christ, if His love has made any difference in your life, if being in a community of the Spirit means anything to you, if you have a heart, if you care, then do me a favor. Agree with each other. Love each other. Be deep-spirited friends. Don't push your way to the front. Don't sweet-talk your way to the top. Put yourself aside. Help others get ahead. Don't be obsessed with getting your own advantage. Forget yourselves long enough to lend a helping hand. And then Paul goes into a song. The next verses in this translation says, think of yourselves the way Christ thought of Himself. And He had equal status with God, but did not think so much of Himself that He had to cling to the advantages of that status no matter what. Not at all. When the time came, He set aside the privileges of deity and took the status of a slave, became human. Having become human, He stayed human. It was an incredibly humbling process. He didn't claim special privileges. Instead, He lived a selfless, obedient life and then died a selfless, obedient death. Another translation says, have this mind, and this is my letter, my word to the people of this church at this time in our history. Have this mind in you that is in Christ Jesus, who, though He was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, but emptied Himself and became obedient, even unto death, the death on the cross. So that's a song I would encourage us to sing over and over and over again to ourselves and to each other, to remind that we are each part of the family. We are each called to be obedient to God. And Paul goes on to say, because of that obedience, God lifted Him high and honored Him far beyond anything or anyone, ever so that all created beings in heaven and on earth, even those long ago, will bow and worship before Jesus Christ and call out in praise that He is the master of all, to the glorious honor of God. So my letter, my plea is that we would have the mind amongst ourselves, have the mind of Christ, and not cling to our prerogatives. So if we are obedient and humble ourselves, the promise from Paul's letter to the Philippians is that God will honor that and we will rejoice. And that leads me to the 103rd Psalm. O my soul, bless God. From head to toe, I'll bless his holy name. O my soul, bless God, and do not forget a single blessing. God is sheer mercy and grace, not easily angered. He is rich in love. God's love is ever and always eternally present to all who fear him. Bless God, all creatures, wherever you are, everything and everyone made by God. So that's my wish, that's my hope, that's my prayer. May God bless this church so that we can continue on in the next 75 years of our life with the enjoying with God and being expressing our praises and thanks and joy to God.